I think that there are so many choices offered to men and women that it confuses people, right? If someone just gives us a ball and they're like, play. And we're like, well, what game are we playing? Are we playing basketball, football, British or American version of football, or Australian version? Can I kick? Can I throw? Can we pick? Like, what are the rules? So actually, if you just give people infinite options, if someone gives you a menu at a restaurant and it's, the size of the Bible, and they're like, okay, what do you want to eat? You've got this analysis paralysis. You don't know what to do. So there's this sort of paradox of choice where you can have so many options open to you and so many different ideas floating out there that you don't know what to do, and it becomes harder to make a good decision. And I think that's actually where we are. I think in the past, it was very clear, if you're a boy growing up to be a man, if you're a girl growing up to be a woman, it was very, very clear in every single society and culture and nation what your role is, what you're supposed to do. You're a man growing up in whether it's the 1920s or the 1820s or it was very clear like what your job is as a man. Right? Someone could say, oh, there weren't enough choices, there weren't enough options, people were oppressed, this and this. But the reality is it was very simple. It was very simple. You protect, you provide, you look after yourself, your family, your tribe. You just do these basic things. You'll be able to attract a woman. Everyone gets married. You have a wife. Everyone has their wife. You have children. You raise your children. You fight against the elements and the enemies if you need to, so on. Very simple, very straightforward. Basic battle to survive against nature, against famine, against other tribes, whatever it may have been. For women, it was very simple as well, right? Your primary role, you get married, you have a husband, you raise children, you look after the kids, you look after the home, you help with the various tasks. Maybe you help on the farm, you do this, you do that. And then in the past under 100 years, it's all opened up, and there's many benefits that have come with that. But I think there have also come many, many challenges, because the natural polarity and necessity between men and women has been, for the first time, I'd say in all of human history perhaps, has been inverted. You now have people questioning. You've got millions of young women out there literally asking the question, why do I need a man? Do I need a man? What's the point of this? What's the point of marriage? Should I even have children? Right? All these questions, these are new questions. As a man, you've got men kind of doing the same. Like, do I need a woman? If I need a woman, why just one? Why not have a whole bunch of them? What's the point of marriage? What's the purpose of this? Should I even have children? They're expensive. There's this. So in the past, in the past, let's make it really simple. In the past, if you even wanted to have sex, you're gonna become a father or a mother, whether or not you want to be, right? So, okay, form a family, get married, have us together. And so it was very clear. Now you've detached it's like everything's become detached from one another. So something weird has happened where sex, family, marriage, children, parenting, all of these things have become somewhat detached and disassociated from each other, whereas they used to really kind of just come in a clear package altogether. And this is causing a lot of confusion and a lot of bad behavior and a lot of downstream problems for both men, women, and society as a whole. And what's interesting about it is, again, coming back to that paradox of choice is I always take polls with a grain of salt, but according to the polls and studies and things that exist out there, people are becoming decreasingly happy. People are becoming increasingly lonely, increasingly isolated, more depression, more anxiety, more concerns about all of these things. So it doesn't seem to be the case that actually by giving people all of these infinite options where you can literally scroll through human beings like a catalog on various apps, or you can just swipe left, right, hook up with all these people, whatever. It's not making people happier. No. And it's not making people better off. And I think at this point, it's quite clear that the experiment has run, at least since the 1960s, and we've seen the actual impact that it's having. So we're at a very strange point in society, I think, in many ways. We're still at the early stage of a new century. And it can go in all sorts of different directions. We can have a return to some type of traditionality and people going back to men embracing masculinity, women embracing femininity, people embracing, marriage and the family dynamic and everything like that. We could just go into, an increasingly sort of paganistic culture where we end up going back to polygamy, where if you're a man at the top, why not? You've got your 20 women and, your concubines and everything. And if you're a man who's not towards the top of the sort of social hierarchy or financial hierarchy, you're kind of struggling for crumbs, or maybe you've got your AI robot girlfriend, or what? It sounds facetious, but I'm being dead serious. I'm being dead serious, right? You've already got AI influencers and AI OnlyFans models. OnlyFans itself is very weird, and the normalization of that. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think we're in a very weird time.
Well, let me kind of paint a bit of a picture, since I'm the woman here on this panel. Because I think that you said quite a bit, and I can't speak to the fact that our mothers were entirely that happy with the situation either.
Oh, mine was, but I don't know about everyone else's.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So I think what we're facing is that, there were actually very high rates of addiction with housewives, with women who were staying home, who were addicted to methamphetamines, benzodiazepines. Like, we've had drugs pulled from the market because women weren't necessarily happy in that role either. So
can I ask something quick?
Yeah.
Are you talking specifically the USA?
Specifically the USA, okay, from what I know of, yeah. And that, again, we can get into cultures, which would be great to know. So where I think feminism has played a role, and I will only speak kind of anecdotally from what I saw with my mother and how that happened, right? So I think what we're seeing is a culture of women who wanted to give their daughters other opportunities than what they particularly had. Mm-hmm. So my mother and my father passed away. She had to go back to work. She didn't have a degree. She didn't have any skills. Her job was to be a mom, and life got really, really hard for her. So at that point, her options were to raise a daughter with the notion of, I don't want this to happen to you. Mm-hmm. So go get your education. Go get your job, go get your money, so that if something does happen and you don't have to be completely reliant on a man to really to survive, right? So I think that we may have overcorrected a bit, because we have the boss bitches, and a lot of us really didn't have fathers to model like what is really truly strong masculinity. So now we're chasing kind of some of the fake masculinity. We're chasing all the chads that we're trying to find our love in that. A bunch of women my age and women younger than me